Alrighty, so a video I've been wanting to make for a while. It's the Toro Turf Master. Just wanted to give the rundown, the likes and dislikes. 30 inch, that's a positive that it's a cutting width. But I go back to where I made a review on the White Bravo to where it's not exactly 30 inches. The blades, each one, I forget exactly, but I think they're like 14 each. So, you have a cutting width of 28. So that's where it kind of, if you're going to call it a 30 inch, it's a wheelbase, I'm sure. It's not a cutting. But either way, the little things like that kind of grind your gears, if you will. So, yeah, that's that. The gas tank, of course, is Turf Master, so it has a bigger tank, stuff like that. And it is what it is. It's a good mower. There's more cons to me on my end than pros. There's it being, I guess I only give one pro. Being a wider deck, you don't have to walk as much. But when it comes to, as we all know, turning these things, they are pretty heavy. I don't know the exact weight, but I think it's like 160 or 170. So if you're a smaller guy, you're going to struggle to turn this thing around. A lot of people I know talk to not a lot, but a handful of gardeners. We ask each other how we're liking it, and first things first is always, these things weigh a lot. To turn them, uh, they just all struggle. You just need to learn how to manipulate the mower. You need to learn how not to pull the mower back, and as much as possible trying to do as much as possible to get the either mow first and then come back around with the weed eater and weed whack around. I really don't have to deal with it too much because I've pretty much learned it. If I do have to pull it back, it's just a real here periodically, but it is a total pain in the butt, and that's where the Ferris really comes in. So if they had this mower with whatever technology, or not technology, but just stuff, equipment that they have on that one, this will definitely, be a good mower. I love this one just because with the Ferris, you have to buy the additional grass catcher. This comes with the grass catcher, all that stuff. You don't have to spend an extra 500 or whatever it may be to get a grass catcher. The other thing, as far as from the Ferris, I'm going off somewhere else, but I'm just gonna keep going as my thoughts come in. If this thing definitely had those new, once again, what the Ferris has, the caster wheels on this will definitely make it a lot easier to turn as well. As you know, when you're turning, you kind of prop it up a little bit and you have to turn it. And if you had those caster wheels in that front, it would. I used one. My friend has one with the caster wheels in this, just night and day compared to the fixed front wheels. So I think if this had it, I'm not sure why they haven't seen the Ferris, and maybe they're working on it. I don't know. It would probably be an easy fit here. There's 4 bolts there. If they can just sell the wheels there, camera's not adjusting, but there's a few bolts there. So if they can make something to where you can take these off and put another set on, and instead of having to buy a new mower, because as you know, I'm not sure how much it is now, but mine was about $2,300 when I bought it. So if they can do that, that would definitely be a plus. I'm not sure who to contact about that. I know I've spoken to the guys over at the supply store or the small engine repair shop or whatever you want to call it, the dealer. And they say a few people have said that as well, and that they would call or talk to the the guy that comes in, and the distributor or whatever it is for this area, whatever he's called. So maybe they've heard of it, maybe they thought of it, who knows. But those just a few things. I can't think, positives. It's just a pain in the butt. It's good. It cuts so decent. Bi-weekly houses, it definitely gets a little more clogged up, so you have to go slower. I guess to me, there's more cons than pros. The con, transmission, just like the other Toros. Well, the smaller ones have more a slow and a high. This just has one gear, and you have to kind of feather the clutch or whatever, the handle, and especially when you're coming around initially starting, you grab that on when you're turning from here, going back. It definitely, that first little jolt, you start walking a little faster, and then of course as it keeps going, it's fine, but it's just that initial turn, or when you're at the end of your day, you're tired kind of thing. You just want to drop it down just a little bit, but you have to feather it, and then as you feather it, you kind of have to keep engaging it, and you slow down, you accelerate, slow down, accelerate. So if they had definitely a high and a low, or I wouldn't even say a low and a high, I would more say it would be more like a medium and a high, because the low is too slow, the high is a little too high, and there needs to be a medium there. Not to go back to the Ferris, but once again, the Ferris, I think it had like 2 or 3 different gears or something like that, if I remember right. It's been a year and a half or so since I've had that one. So we need to find a nice medium, especially, they're supposed to be catering to us. I'm not sure how they do their R&D and get these machines and all that stuff. But either way, once again, getting off track. But so that's the thing. That brake that it had up there, I took it off. It has a brake that's for everyone walk around on the trailer. I probably should have tied it up, whatever, but I just wanted to try it and see how it worked, and it did not work too well. It was right up, but once again, I took it off. Of course, as you kind of expected, with the bumps and everything, it just releases that brake up there, and then the mower's flying around. So I have a tie strap now. I strap it in and just hold it in, because you don't want stuff flying around. So that took on. I've had it for a year. So now one of the problems I'm having, the engine bolts that hold it in place, those started getting loose. One of them actually came off, and the dealership didn't want to take care of that, as far as I was still under warranty. So I bought the bolt, put it in. It was a pain in the butt to put in. You pretty much have to take this front portion off, take the little back cover off, take off the belts. I actually didn't record it. Maybe I should have done it. Who knows? But it was more frustrating than anything, so I just didn't want to record anything. But you take off the bolt. Let me see if I can show you. But you have to, let's see, you can't see it, but there's this belt that you have to take off. And then you have to take off, I actually replaced that belt too, and it was a pain in the butt. There's this little thing back there where you actually had to take the bolt off, and it took a while. By the way, let me move this. You can see how it moves, and I try to tighten them. I just can't get to those back ones. So you can see how it shifts, and actually it's gotten loose. I have to go back there and tighten it. But it's a tough fit. And the guys at the dealership, if you will, when I told them about the bolts, I needed some bolts. They told me, yeah, you're not the, I asked them questions, people come in, all this other stuff. They go, yeah, people are coming in, they're having us do it, or, they do it themselves. So, that's just another thing that's going on with that. I'm not sure if there's a recall on it. Maybe I should look that up. As we all know, when it's wet, if it's wet, there's some people that complain about the ruts, and that's nothing you can really get around unless you change directions and stuff like that, which I do. But that's going to happen, when it's wet. Right now it's nice and sunny out, but when it's wet, we all know, we all deal with that. Even with the 21-inch, no matter if it's the 216 or the 217, I have one of each, you're still going to deal with the problems. And it's not that I mow when it's super wet, but it's just moist, and there's not much you can do when it's super wet. I don't mow, I just weed whack, and we're off, kind of thing. But would I get the mower again? There's just those few things. What is it? What else? There's something else that came to my mind right now. Oh, this little thing broke here, so it vibrates. I don't know where to exactly put it, but when the mower's on, it vibrates. I'm trying to think what else. Also, when I first bought it, the transmission cable, I've had to adjust a few different things. The blade cable, the clutch cable. I don't know. I want to say, drawing a blank. So it'll be the clutch cable, and it'll be the drive cable. Yeah. So I had to adjust both. As far as the drive cable, turning the wheels goes, even on, so say I was down there trying to come up the driveway, I would have to push it in order to get it to start going, if you will. And it was, I don't know, maybe a week or two into having the mower, to where I went into a dealership and they're like, "Oh, we're too busy. You have to leave it," kind of thing. And it's a 2 or 3 week wait. And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. Just to adjust the cable." And they're like, "Yeah, well, we, first come, first serve kind of thing." So as we know, we start tinkering around with it. If you had a mower, you've adjusted things on it. So I just go adjust the cable, adjust like an eighth of an inch or maybe a little more. And now that thing, I had a big house that was probably about 5 feet tall, high, and it's just when that goes up, and it was the first 2 weeks was a pain in the butt, and I would just use a 21-inch just to do it, just because I didn't want to have to deal with pushing it up. Of course, coming down was nothing, but going up was just a pain. Trying to push it up, of course, once again, 100 and whatever it weighs, 60-pound mower, trying to push it up and then trying to wait till it engages is no fun. So that was another thing that I had to adjust. Just once again with the mower, with the bi-weeklies and the summertime, it's just a lot going through there. So I had to adjust those two things. But I also like this one compared to the 32, just because I have a lot of houses that have new residential housing, so it's real compact. This fits well with on some houses, not all of them, but if they have their buckets, their trash cans, this can fit right through as well. And I don't have to be moving the trash cans and in or out, to the backyard or to the front to be able to get in and out. And it's just a pain in the butt and just drives you crazy, even though it's not going to take you more than a minute to move those cans around, but it's a little frustration things. But would I buy it again? Most likely probably would. Just because, once again, I don't have to worry about buying a grass catcher, and then also the new Ferris, or the Ferris doesn't have, it does have a catcher, but it's this big old funnel kind of homeowner thing, and some people complain about the grass getting caught, having to go all the way to the top. So it's a grass catcher and it goes all the way to the top. So maybe if they made one, I haven't tried, I probably should have when I had it, was put one of those cloth ones that go on the side, have one of those that goes there. Maybe that's going to throw off the balance. I don't know. The 32 commercial ones, at which either it's, you just your typical, even your Toro 32s or 36s, how they have those cloth ones. You make something like that and make it a lot easier instead of carrying around I think it's the accelerated grass catcher. That's, even though it's light, it gets heavy with all that grass in there. My goodness, it's been 13 minutes. So just those things to watch out for. Maybe the new models have taken care of all those things that I have pointed out. But would I buy another one? I see why not. It's definitely helps out with not having to walk so much compared to the 21-inch. That I have a 34-inch Gravely, and it's just too heavy to be mowing, and it just leaves ruts everywhere. People complain about that, so you just have to figure something out. Either this or the Ferris, I would definitely say would be good. Once again, I bag everything, so that's why I chose to go with this one. People complain about the grass clippings being everywhere and stuff. Even though you blow it, they dry out and all those things. So just want to point out those few things so you can make your decision on. Take care.